Hey, welcome back, you guys. We're going to head into this next presentation regarding the Lead Worksheet. So go ahead and print off or open up the document that was emailed to you and use that as a guide as we go ahead and go along with this presentation. Today, you guys are going to learn about the lead questions, and it's really key and critical to memorize those. I'm going to give you the reason why behind the questions. Of course, this is for your information. It's not to be shared with the customer. You're going to learn how to properly qualify the customer and, of course, set the appointment. It's really important in door knocking that you have some icebreakers in your pocket. One of my favorite, most cheesy ones of all time, how much does a polar bear weigh? Well, just enough to break the ice. So the reason why we have you guys do icebreakers, even with your customers while knocking on doors, is it really brings their guard down. So it takes the focus off, who are you and what are you trying to sell me, into, oh, cool, this is James and he loves classic cars too. So icebreakers are a really great way to lead into your pitch. So I would recommend having some icebreakers in your back pocket, write down and memorize some awesome jokes. And then, of course, more experience will get you more adept on how to really relate to the customers. Every time you knock on a door, you're going to see something that you can pinpoint, whether if it's like a classic car in the driveway, a really beautiful rose garden. Maybe they have their favorite pro team flag hanging up by their front door. There's always going to be something that you can connect with the homeowner, and then, of course, lowering their guard before you go into your pitch. So after you break the ice, you want to lead into your pitch. The pitch tells your customer why you're there, and it's important to tell them why you're there so you can move forward with the sale. So here's a sample pitch I like to use when I'm knocking on doors. It's really great just to chat with such a really nice and eco-friendly homeowner. Well, my name is Stephanie. I'm conducting a brief 5-question survey just to see if we can save you some money on your home utilities. Who is your current TV provider? And you'll see that from your pitch, you lead straight to your first question. Because the pitch requires an introduction and kind of a question, I'm conducting a brief 5-question survey. It doesn't give the customer a chance to say, oh, no, I don't have time for a survey today, or oh, no, thanks, I'm not interested. Hitting off with that first question, wait and pause, and you're bound to get an answer. So the lead question number 1, who is your current TV provider, and why is this important? Well, in order to save customers money and set them up with new service, we need to know who they currently have service with. Sometimes folks will live in areas where there may be only 1 or 2 service providers in the area. So as long as we know if they have service with XYZ company, then we're able to propose the customer with ABC company. The second question on your lead worksheet is, okay, awesome. How long have you had their service? Most companies require contract terms for their customers, and they're usually anywhere between 1 and 2 years. So if a customer is new and they've only had XYZ service for 2 months, less than a year, less than 2 years, depending on the type of contracting company, that customer is locked in a contract, and therefore, if we were to make a change and sell them new service, they would be having to pay cancellation charges to their former company. With Dish and DirecTV, contract length is 2 years. So if it's been under 2 years, they may not qualify for new discounts at this time. And then if it's been less than a year with Xfinity and Uverse, they may not qualify for new discounts. If we go ahead and look at, where was I? I'm so sorry. Wrong, lead question 3, weren't we? Okay. So the third question is, have you upgraded any equipment within the last 1 or 2 years? So if the customer is not in contract, and if they have not upgraded their equipment, they may be a really good candidate for new discounts. If they're not in contract, but if they actually have upgraded their equipment within the last year or so, they may not qualify for new discounts at this time. Lead question 4. Okay, cool. So you've had XYZ for a few years. You haven't upgraded equipment. Well, how many TVs do you have? In order to understand if they're paying too much for their service, we need to know how many TVs they watch television on. You know, all companies charge additional rates for additional TVs. So let's say they have 3 TVs, but maybe one of those TVs is, you know, I don't know, stored in the garage. Maybe it's used as a monitor for a home office, or if it's maybe in the guest bedroom and only a DVD is connected, you want to find out if maybe those TVs are connected to receivers and if they're watching their live programming on those TVs. Lead question number 5, do you also have home phone, internet, and home security with XYZ company? If a customer is bundled with 2 or more services with the same company, there is a very good chance that we can save that customer money. And you know, just because a customer may have a double or triple play with one company, we may not need to switch all services to save them money. Sometimes only changing maybe a TV account with a different company or their internet may be all it takes to save. The 6th question, I know it says bonus question and it says required. If you remember back to our pitch, we told the customer we're just conducting a brief 5-question survey. 5 questions sound better than 6, but this question is absolutely required and it's the kicker. So if there is one thing you can change about your service or bill with XYZ company, what would it be? So this is where you have built rapport, trust, you're just having a good conversational flow, you're getting some basic information, who they have, how long they've had it, you know, are they in contract, how many TVs do they have? This is where you really want the customer to really spill the beans. You know, if there's one thing they could change, there's usually one or two things that the customer is not happy with. They're either not happy with how much they're paying too much, or they're not happy with their channel programming and their package. Or it could be both. So this is where you really want the customer to spill the beans, you want them to vent, and go ahead and prod them on. You know, if a customer's like, oh my gosh, all these companies are the same and their rates just keep going up, and you know, not only is it too expensive, but last year I had to downgrade my package, so now I'm not getting this channel or that channel. You really want to make sure that you jot down, okay, perfect. So you're not happy with the price. Well, you know, I agree. These companies do charge super much. So you have TV, phone, internet with XYZ company. How much are they charging you every month? You know, let them talk, write it down. If they're not getting channels, you know, figure out what channels do they want? What channels are they getting? What channels are they missing? And when it comes to channels, we're talking networks. Every company out there is going to have a different channel for Bravo. They're going to have a different channel for AMC. The networks are key. So if they need Bravo, AMC, Fox Sports 1, Fox News, MSNBC, make sure to write down those networks because that's going to help your closer figure out what package and for how many TVs if we could really save them money by making the switch. And then, of course, your close is setting that appointment. So you built trust with the customer, they like you, you're having a good conversation, you got all the information you need. Thank them with a close, something to this accord. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for answering all my questions. You know, my supervisor is in the neighborhood this afternoon. He's just doing some service calls for his customers. I can actually have him come by later today to do a free bill analysis. You know, we could definitely save you some money. Would 3 or 4 be a good time for him to come by? Your goal is to get that customer excited by re-emphasizing what's important to him or her. So go back to where we had them spill the beans. They were upset with their provider, maybe for buffering issues, price is too high, channels. If they're kind of like, well, I don't really want your supervisor to come by, you know, it's nice chatting with you and I'm glad I helped you out with your survey, but I'm really okay right now. Well, you know, didn't you say you're paying too much? You know, you're not really getting the channels you need and you haven't had an upgrade in years. You know, there's definitely ways to save you money and we can definitely get you new equipment. Just go ahead and it's not a problem. My supervisor can come by in probably a couple hours. 4 or 5 still works, right? You know, you just try with those soft closes, get that hard close. The hard close, we'll be able to make it happen. You're going to have a lot more infield training with your managers, Joe Salazar. But your goal obviously is to get the appointment, because once we get the appointment, we send our closers in to close the deal, we get those installed, you get paid, and we all make money. Here's some more information that's good for you to have on hand. It's just going to add more professionalism to your vocabulary, and it's definitely going to add more confidence. This is just some tidbits on cancellation charges and, again, contracts. So most companies charge a customer $20 a month for the remaining month of their contract term if they were to break their commitment. So let's say a customer has 1 year left with Dish Network. In order to make the change and switch, they would be charged $20 times 12, which is the remaining terms of their commitment. They're going to be charged $240 by making the change if they left Dish Network and went to DirecTV, let's say. So Dish Network, it's a 2-year term, and they charge $20 a month to break their contract. The same with DirecTV. A UVerse with AT&T is a 1-year term, and they charge $15 per month for the remaining months of their term. And Xfinity with Comcast, they're a little wishy-washy. You know, they do both contract pricing and non-contract pricing, but we'll get into more infill training details in regard to Xfinity customers. And then, of course, if you're working in markets where Spectrum or Frontier are available, they don't have contracts, so that's always a fun and easy switch. Now, we did mention before that if a customer was in contract, they may not qualify for discounts. We're going to show you that the customer may still qualify. It's just going to include a little bit more variables. But let's say if the customer is in contract. So you could figure out what the early termination fee is by doing the math we did earlier. So for example, a DirecTV customer has 6 months left at $20 a month. They're going to be charged $120 to cancel their contract. But sometimes companies offer bonuses to customers who make the change, and that kind of helps the customer offset their ETF fees. So let's say that same DirecTV customer has 6 months left. Well, Dish is currently offering customers a $100 Visa reward card for making the change. So again, that $100 could help them offset that ETF fee, and if they're saving enough on their monthly bill, it may be worth it for them to make a change, even if they're still in contract. Here's some steps to success in order to get you guys making money. You know, study those icebreakers, practice the art of the knock with neighbor and friends, get those jitterbugs out. You know, go ahead and practice and knock. The more you do it, the more natural it's going to feel, the more confident you're going to feel. And, you know, it's all about conversations. You're going to make some really great money. And, you know, whether if it's, you know, door knocking or marketing or any other business out there, it's all a numbers game. So for our door-to-door crew and canvassing teams, the more doors you knock on, the more people you talk to, the greater number of finding good qualified leads. We close those leads, you get paid. I would recommend, after doing all the training and getting you up to speed as a sales rep 1, set a schedule with your trainer for door knocking and stick to it. Work with your trainer in the field every day. We do require a minimum of 3 days during the work week to work with your trainer and work out in the field. But set a schedule for yourself for working, and it's really going to help you, you know, stick to that schedule and keep your numbers high and have income that you can actually rely on. And of course, be yourself, have fun, and get people excited to save money. That's what we're here for. Here's some don'ts. I know we've given you a lot of information about why we ask certain questions, but it's not for the customer to know. It's for you to be able to have a flowing conversation where you can guide and direct the customers where you want them to be, and that's to set the appointment. So don't tell the customer that the only way to save them money is to switch to another company. This is the work for the closer. It's not your job. If you want to become a closer down the road, awesome. We're going to teach you how to do that during the sale. But at this point right now, customer does not need to have any information regarding making a change. That actually would hurt, and you wouldn't be able to set your appointment. Do not let the customer guide the conversation. You know, sometimes we get talking with customers and they're chatty Cathys and they go off bunny trails, and that's totally fine, but it's always good to redirect them back to your end goal, and that's to fill out the survey and set the appointment. So if they tend to go off a bunny trail, it's best to nod, agree, and then redirect them back to your question. Oh, yeah, I agree. For some reason, Starbucks charges too much. Yeah, that's crazy, I know. But how long have you had Xfinity? Bring it back to your survey question. And then, of course, don't make assumptions about your customer. Always be polite and courteous. But here are some do's for you. Be yourself. People love talking to authentic people. You are the only person on this planet that's like you. Embrace it, love it. Of course, you're going to work with a lot of your peers and your supervisors who are going to kill it at the doors. You will too. It's just a matter of time. So it's cool to take tips and tricks from them, but at the end of the day, you've got to be yourself. Again, let the customer spill the beans about their service. Empathize with them, nod, agree, prod them on. The more information you get from them, the likelihood of you closing that sale and that ratio jumps up tremendously. And then, of course, emphasize the point that the appointment will save them money and improve their service. And if for some reason you don't have an answer to their question, go back. You know what? I'm new, but my supervisor has all the answers. And he can actually be here in a couple hours. You said 5 was good, right? Assume the sale. Always assume that sale. But here is some information you can share with customers when they have questions. So just go ahead and memorize these. NextTV is a licensed and insured broker for all telemedia services. We have been in the business since 2004. NextTV focuses on being the customer's advocate and helping you get the best possible deals in the market, no matter which company you choose. And of course, refer to our website, whypaymorefortv.com, for more information. So you might have customers that are going to ask you questions about your questions. As we go through these, my recommendation is to go ahead and print out a couple of these slides. And the clipboard that you're going to use in door canvassing, just go ahead and tape it to the back of your clipboard. That way, if someone asks you a question and you get kind of stumbled, just go ahead and use your cheat sheet and refer to that. So if a customer asks you, what company are you with? Tell them, I'm with NextTV. We're a licensed broker for TV, phone, internet, and home security. If a customer asks, well, why do you need to know if I'm in a contract? Tell them, well, it helps us to determine if we can save you money with new customer promotions. If a customer asks, well, why do you need to know if I upgraded my equipment? A good answer. Well, it helps us determine if you qualify for the latest equipment free of charge. If a customer asks, well, why does it matter if I have two TVs and the third TV isn't hooked up? Great answer. All companies charge additional fees for TV used to watch programming on. So it helps us determine if we can save you money on your TV bill. And if they ask, how much does your company pay you to be out here? A great answer. I get paid a small nominal fee if my company can make you a happy customer. In all honesty, it's none of their business, but this is just a really great way to satisfy them, I guess, so to speak. And then, of course, here's a couple of suggestions on the off chance you come across any of these situations while you're out on the doors. Customer slams the door in your face. There's only one thing to do, and that's to walk away to the next door. The funny thing about door knocking is it's almost like you're on a game show and you got to pick what's behind door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. We all know that we want the door that's going to have the customer that's nice and polite and answers your questions, sets the appointment, we close the deal, we all make money. Those customers are out there, but we don't know what door they're behind. So we could easily open the door and it's a scary clown face. That's not cool, but sometimes you get customers that are really rude. So if a customer does start giving you a really hard time about knocking on their door, my recommendation is to de-escalate any conflict by stating something to this effect. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Is this not the Smith residence? I was stopping by to speak with Harold Smith regarding his TV service. I'm so sorry to bother you. Have a nice day," and walk away. So one of two things. They're either going to know that you made that up and they're going to feel awful, which they should, because nobody should be giving door knockers a hard time. Just, I think there's angry, ugly people out there that are miserable, and misery loves company. Or they're going to genuinely believe that you were there to see somebody else, and they're probably going to feel like a piece of shit, and they probably should for giving you a hard time. But in that case, de-escalate and move on. Let's say if you're working a family mobile home park, an apartment community, there's a lot of those in this area, and a manager comes by on their cart and asks what you're doing. I would recommend to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm here on an appointment to check with a customer of mine regarding his or her service." "Well, who do you have for TV, by the way?" And just kind of flip the script and talk to them about their TV service. Because you know what? They're a customer too. Everybody, if they don't have TV, they have internet, they have cell phones. So the reason why I say go ahead and talk to them about their TV needs is even if that manager asks you to politely leave, which absolutely you should, because sometimes we walk into gated communities with a no leaving sign, that doesn't stop us in this industry. Because if that stopped us, we wouldn't make any money. But I will tell you that in talking to managers that have asked us to leave, we were actually able to set up appointments where we were able to do a full-on presentation in front of their entire community at their clubhouse and sell multiple accounts at once. Always talk to your manager. And that's it. Ta-da! We're done. So you've completed this round of training. I would recommend watching this presentation 1 or 2 more times. For each of our presentations, we do have a copy and paste section of questions. It's something that you do need to do and email your trainer. That way we know that you watched the presentation and you've grasped this material. With that said, your next goal is to set your schedule with the trainer, and then we'll see you out in the field. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great day. ABC.